Hi, hello there. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're planning my reading journal for the month of September. I am using washi tape from the Washi Tape shop, the reading tracker stamps from the Paper Person shop, the reading journal stamps from Everyday Explorers, Espresso ink from Close to My Heart, and the Paper Boutique Shades of Blush Everyday Papers from the Paper Boutique. I got them from scrapbook.com. So we're going to jump right into my August monthly page. I'm actually going to continue doing the same as I did last month. I really did enjoy that layout. So I'm going to go ahead and keep with that same theme. The only thing that I don't do today is add a quote underneath my calendar, which is what I did last month. And I do plan to do that again this month, but I just, for the life of me, couldn't decide on a quote. So I left it blank for now, and I'll just figure that out at a later time and probably print it out. The very first thing that I had put down at the beginning of the video were some words, my titles, my headings that I had printed out on clear sticker paper. So I'm using that this month, and when I go ahead and do my quote, I'll probably just do the same thing, print it out on clear sticker paper, and then just stick it in. Unfortunately, I didn't really leave myself enough room to put my day headers in here, my Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, and all that. So I'm just gonna skip them this week. I know I start my weeks on a Monday, so it should be fine. I'm going ahead and ripping the washi tape, the Washi Tape shop washi that I purchased, just so that it matches the aesthetic of the rest of the scrapbook papers that I'm using. And then I'm gonna start working on my time and method page and my to be read pages. I'm really keeping everything very similar to how I did it last month. Maybe not the same order, just because I did do waterfall tab this month. So I kind of rearranged my pages around so that the smaller pages I could actually, fit everything that I wanted on them. So I'm using an open book stamp, and I'm going to use that stamp in order to color in for how long I read each day. And then up at the top, I'm going to have just like a little area for me to mark off if I read what type of method each day. So I'm going to leave the days of the week written in pencil on there, but I'm going to erase them eventually. You saw me just flip back and kind of reference last month. I was essentially using how long I read the color to then fill in my dot for method read. So that's what I'm planning to do again this month. And then for my to be read page, I am going to use another stamp that says tackling my TBR pile. I'm so excited to be actually using some of my stamps this month. I've been collecting a lot lately, so I'm glad that I'm actually using them and not just kind of sticking them on the countertop. I haven't really decided what books I want to read this month or what books I want to add to this list. I don't know. I'm just having a very indecisive last couple of days, and it's rough. So in addition to being indecisive the last couple of days, I'm actually just all over the place. So I'm gonna finish up this little section right here for my method read, and then I'm gonna move on, and then later on come back and work on my TBR page some more. So prepare yourself, I guess. I'm honestly just still not sure how I feel about this theme that I'm doing. It might just be because it's so much different than I usually do. Like, I don't think I usually use this much scrapbook paper and all this other stuff. So I feel like it's just throwing me off, which is probably part of the reason why I'm just all over the place. So I don't know. What do you think? Do you like this theme? Let me know in the comments below. I think eventually, like after I step away from it for a few days and I go back and I finish my August layouts and stuff like that, like filling everything in, I think when I come back and actually start using it, I'll really like it. I do like the muted tones and all that, and I've used all of my favorite stamps, so there's plenty of reason for me to love it. I just think that because it's so different than what I usually do, it's just throwing me off. I do mess up quite a bit putting all of this together as well. So for my new words page, I get like marker or something on my words sticker, and then I tried to see if I could like wipe it off because it was like clear sticker, and I ended up smearing the ink from what I printed and like left a huge blue smudge in there, and you'll actually see my hands go like, what the heck, when I realized what I did. So that's fun. My favorite book page, I am using more stamps. The ones that I used are from the reading journal stamp set by Everyday Explorers, and I used the one that said this is a good read and then love this book. And before I started adding these lines, they looked great, but I underestimated how long it would take for the ink to fully like dry, and just smeared it all down the page. So that's fun. When I did go back and erase everything, it did help. It did get rid of some of the smudging, but it's still there, and it doesn't really bother me too much, especially once I start getting everything filled in. I don't think I'll notice the smudging really at all. I didn't actually show this marker at the beginning, but this is the Crayola Colors of the World, the thin ones. And then this color, I believe, is Deep Rose. And it's a very like muted, like dark rose color, and I super love it. And it looks so good with the scrapbook paper. So I'm sure you've noticed that I have been referencing back to my spreads last month, or technically still this month, quite a bit, and that's because last month I actually did do a lot of spreads differently than I normally do. I changed up the whole way that I did my stats page last month, and I loved it. I have been enjoying it so much more. It's so much more visually appealing to myself, and I'm just so much happier with it. I feel like I have enough room to write because I've given myself 2 lines for each book. It only gives me about 11 books per month, unless I want to add more pages, which I could do because I've got some space down at the bottom. I could do like a little flip out if I needed. But for the most part, like on average, I read about 8 books a month, if even that. If I'm having like a good reading month, I'll read like 8 books. So this gives me, I believe I said 11. So that should be more than enough. But I really like that I have enough space and that each book is separated into their own box. It just makes it so much more aesthetically pleasing for me, especially since the way I was doing it before, like I just felt like everything was super jumbled together. So on the next page, which is my totals page, I'm adding this sticker, which I don't know why I did, because literally I don't have anything else like this in the whole theme on any page this month. I think it was just sitting next to me and I was like, well, instead of putting this away, I'll just throw it on this page. And here we are. Last month I also changed the totals that I was tracking. So I was just flipping back to reference to see which ones. So in my head, I was like, oh, I will just spell everything backwards. Clearly, coos is not a word that I had meant to spell. So I think about like right here, I was like, I'm just gonna pencil out the words like I would normally do and then just fill them in. Because normally what I do is just pencil out the words, give each letter a square when I use this particular stamp set from Amazon, and then I'll just go in and stamp each letter every time it appears. So you'll see now that's what I'm doing. I'm just going back to how I would normally do it. I don't know why I thought like, oh, I can just spell things backwards super easily, and then just started writing books completely backwards, but started it with an A. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. So after I changed it back to the way I would normally do it, everything went much more smoothly and so much quicker. The biggest problem that I had after I, prepped it was finding the letters, because that's always my biggest problem, is finding the letters that I'm looking for. So this is where I'm now gonna go back and start messing with other pages. So I'm gonna add a couple pieces of this butterfly paper to all of the pages. I realized that I put it on the calendar page, but nowhere else. So I'm gonna add just like a little rip to each of the pages, to my totals page, my new words page. And then on my to be read page, I'm actually gonna like fussy cut a couple of these butterflies out and tape them around as well. This little orange like kitty tape roller that I'm using, I got in a stationery pal order and I'm obsessed with it. I don't foresee it lasting very long, but I used the rest of my other like tape roller and had to pull it out and use it, and I actually quite like the way that it rolls, especially compared to the TomBow tape roller that I had before. I think that's what it was. I threw it out, so I don't have it to reference anymore. But this one just rolls so much more smoothly and so much more easily, and closes and opens easier too. And I'm pretty sure I spent like $1 on it. I'll be really sad when it's out. I don't think that there's gonna be a ton left. So now the last thing that I'm doing is just going in and doing my line highlights wherever I feel they're needed. So I'll add these highlighted lines to my to be read page, and then I believe I put them on my new words page as well. And then I didn't film this portion because my video cut off, but I also highlighted my stats page as well. So after this, we're gonna jump right into the final flip through. Leave me your comments below. How do you think this one turned out? Would you want to see more scrapbook style layouts and spreads in the future? Let me know. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you have a great rest of your week. Thanks. Bye.